In this video, I want to share some of my tips and tricks on how I get to 1,600 mastering points every season and even beyond, up to almost 2,000 points every single season playing alone. My first big tip is, it's very important already picking the right Pokemon for the game. First, of course, you want to maybe play something that's, of course, in the meta or quite strong, but more important is finding like a puzzle piece that your team is missing. Are you lacking engage? Are you lacking like a last hit for objectives? Try to pick those. Are you lacking range? Do you need more frontline? You know, if your enemies have 3, or like if your team already has 3 attacker Pokemon, you don't have to necessarily pick a defender or support, right? That's not what I'm saying, but like those key things you need to really like win a game. For example, in this game right here, we're lacking some engage, right? So I just picked Ceruledge. My Unite move still has good engage, and of course Ceruledge is also an amazing Pokemon. Another thing is, if you're, if you go top or bot path and you can already see that your ally, for example this Rowlet, pick something quite weak for early game, maybe don't pick something as well. Don't go like Cinderace on top or bot path suddenly and be like, yeah, we're just gonna play Rowlet and Cinderace in the same lane, right? Because obviously that is quite bad and doesn't work. Try to, if your team picks something good early game in the lane already, or XP share something, you can of course pick a carry. Like Cinderace can also work, right? If you lane with a Snorlax, a Wigglytuff that has XP share, an Umbreon with XP share, right? You can play Greninja in path, you can play Cinderace in path, but try to make sure that you have those first before you lock in those kind of Pokemon. Very, very important. And of course, picking the right held items. But I mean, I think most of you who watch my videos should be picking the right held items. I hope so, at least. Then, what is also very important is, you always want to kind of do something, right? This game doesn't really have in-game items, where we have held items, but not in-game items. You can't purchase anything while playing the game. All your stat bonuses come from having levels, right? So whenever there's experience up, you want to go to experience, you want to farm experience. A lot of people really tunnel vision on objectives on top and bot, when sometimes it's not even worth to do. For example, if the Regieleki is up, but your entire Indeedee on the left side up, your entire central area is up, those are more value than any objectives will ever give to you. Try to make sure you farm experience. Experience is the only thing that will matter in the late game fight. If you're going to be level 13, level 14, you have your upgraded moves, right? You head into the final fight. That is still Pokemon Unite. That is what matters the most. You have to be high level there if you want to carry and win more games. Of course, you have to kind of play a bit selfish sometimes, but it just depends. If you feel like one of your allies is doing good, of course, you don't have to take all the experience yourself. If you see your jungler not doing jungle, take the jungle, take that experience. You just can't waste. Experience is what wins you games overall, right? Being high level. It is very important. There's also Unite move usage. Very important to use the right Unite moves. You kind of want to either use it for an objective team fight or to get a comeback KO. For example, if I'm having a bad game, I'm like 3 levels down or something compared to maybe the highest level on the enemy team, often I will just go for a Unite move onto the enemy highest level Pokemon to get comeback experience. That's always a good way to coming back into games. If you're ahead, you want to keep your Unite moves kind of for objectives. For example, here's right now, like I'm completely ignoring the bottom objective because there's experience up here that actually gets us more. First, I get the Indeedees. Second, I deny it for my opponents as well at the same time, right? I can still score 2 and get much more value down just going more aggressive. Of course, I have to be careful because I can give over comeback experience now. So I go for one Unite move here to make sure I don't go down. But good Unite move usage and just farming experience will already get you so far in Unite. Don't try to tunnel vision on scoring all too much though, of course. Scoring is still important, doesn't matter what, it can give you big experience. But in the end, again, most games will come down to Rayquaza. The way I play the game is as well, I try to think, it can be of course difficult, you need kinda good game knowledge for it, but I try to understand what I would do if I was the enemy team. How would I rotate? What would I do next? And then I try to counterplay that, right? I'm thinking like, I'm looking always at the minimap, trying to read it, trying to see where people are. Right now I see a Pikachu, of course there can be some people here as well, but there's no jump hit up yet, so I can just walk up. I always try to like find out. I could just walk to this top fight here as well, but this Regieleki is actually super useless. Like it literally doesn't do anything. We might break the first go with it. Now I can take Hooper Portal and be in the fight anyways, but just don't tunnel vision on objectives too out. Of course, it's important to go to fights. You want to go to fights when you have Unite moves up, just like this. Then we can look for KOs we can something, and then we can get the objective as well. If your team doesn't have Unite moves up, and your team is walking into team fight, and you know the enemies have Unite moves, just don't go there. Your team is going to go down, you're going to go down, everything will be bad. In those scenarios, you kind of just want to focus on experience yourself, and try to make up for the potential team fight your team is about to lose. I think the biggest mistake Unite players do is they walk into fights they cannot win. Like really, they just walk into fights non-stop. They have no Unite move up, but they keep walking in and walking in and walking in for no reason. They contest like a Rigileki, even though you could just defend it quite easily too. And they just fight non-stop, which is of course fine, right? Like it's a fun way to fight. But if you want to actively win games, only fighting is also not going to be a game winner. For example, also entire left side jungle is up right now, but we're just cruising over this game pretty nicely. So yeah, just think what your opponents might do and then try to counter, react to it, and always try to still push your advantage. The only big issue is that if you push your advantage too much, right, comeback experience again is sadly a thing. And if you get shut down, being high level, the enemies do get a lot of experience. For sure. Another good way to like climb, that's nothing I do, but a tip in general, is just try to find 2 or 3 Pokemon for each role, or not even, like, support and defender. You necessarily don't have to play still either, if you really want to climb, of course, but you can, like Trevenant and Umbreon are amazing Pokemon to just fill in case your team doesn't really have a tank, right? Like Curse and Hornage, Trevenant, for example, or Foul Play Snarl, Foul Play Wish Umbreon are still carry defenders, so that fill just multiple roles, right? They can engage, they're tanky frontline, they have still good early game. So those are like great puzzle pieces to really get going. And just try to learn multi-characters though, of course. One-tricking, of course, is great. But if you have at least like 3-4 Pokemon you're confident in, you can always just change around depending on what the enemies pick, what your team picks, and it's going to make your life so much easier. Really, it's going to make your life so much easier. 100% if you just have a bigger character pool. Of course, you still have to play the character well. Doesn't matter what. If you don't play, you know, Savage or something, then it doesn't really matter if you pick it. And so that's one of my main tips I have. For example, if you're missing some last hitting, I like to pick Inteleon. Are we having like a weak early game, right? I like picking Inteleon, for example. But I always try to like find something that makes sense for our team comp to just shine and just be a tiny bit better. In the end, you know, solo queue, everyone is against you as well. You have 5 opponents. You have 5 allies who most likely might also be against you. That's just sadly how Unite sometimes is. And always, if you want to win games, you have to have your Unite move up at Ray and try to be in position. Playing around tall grass and playing around vision is one of the biggest tools to win games. Making people face check into you is how you just win. So I'm like trying right here to make me gain vision, try to be in tall grass, see where my enemy is going to go. If we get a pick off on the Pikachu because of it, evade a bit. Or is he going to go down? I think he's going to go down right here. We take him down. Got a recall right now. Always try to be at Ray when it spawns, and always make sure you have your Unite move up. Oh, the Seadroid just rips Ray, of course. Just a classic one. But I hope this video gave you some more insights on how you can really climb when Pokemon Unite. And I hope to see you guys in the next video. Bye!